Alright folks, what's up? One Big Bugger. And I've decided I'm also going to start doing video logs again now that I have a webcam. And even though I don't have much to talk about right now, I really wanted to get my first one out that I haven't done in a while. A couple things I want to go over, and then there's kind of a funny story I want to relate. If you hear whirring in the background, I apologize. I got my fan going because I got the door closed, and with the door closed, it gets warm in here really fast. But I know it's not the greatest background in the world. I was hoping to do something at some point, maybe at least hang up a sheet back there or something. But whatever. This is who I am, and I usually try not to hide it. Um, First off, the technical stuff, the video game scene. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to record. Um, Binding of Isaac, definitely. I want to keep going with Diablo, even though I haven't posted in a while. I'm just not sure what I'm going to post. I like to continue with my Witch Doctor playthrough on normal, but I'm also working on Act 3 of my Barbarian, and I may start recording that because a lot of people say, barbarians have, we do. Barbarian, if you play a Barbarian in Diablo 3, you have a hard time, a very hard time in Nightmare, not Nightmare, in Inferno, and you need a very high resistance to all, and it's very difficult and expensive to get to that point. But I'm getting there, and I'm actually in Act 3, which a lot of barbarians have trouble in Act 2. So I want to do that because I'm a two-handed barb, which most people say, barbarian, you must be sword and board. No, it may be a little more difficult, but you can do it, and I may want to record that. Um, End of Nations. If I'm allowed to record on End of Nations closed beta, I will. When the closed beta events start happening, I will record, and I will start putting them up. I wouldn't mind recording some Dota 2, except I don't know the game that well. I'm emptying my recycle bin while I'm looking at it. So I'm not sure where I'm going to go with that. I also have Batman City, which I know is old, but I still might want to do that. I want to do some Battlefield gameplay, even though I suck at Battlefield. I would actually like to do that. Um, Not sure what else right now. Torchlight 2, if it doesn't come out in July, because if it does, I won't be able to get it till August. But if it comes out or doesn't come out until sometime in August, I will be doing Torchlight 2 because I actually really want that game. I think it's a game that will be able to nearly match, if not be equal to or even superior, despite it being $20 and more cartoony, to Diablo 3. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, for myself personally, I am trying to diet despite falling down a few times. My birthday, I had a surprise turkey dinner made for me by all people, my mother-in-law, which was an absolute wonderful surprise. So my diet flew out the window for that day and the day after. And I had a couple hard times at the end of the month. The end of the month is always difficult because food, despite my size, actually runs thin. Um, and just last night they made palehus, which is just another word for barbecue, um, and my diet went flying out the window again. So the only thing I'm concerned about is everything I've been trying to do to get my diet to work. That maybe I put the weight back on with the days I fall down. The problem is I don't have a scale to track my weight. I couldn't afford a scale to track my weight. I'm very morbidly obese, as much as I hate that term. Just call me fat. I think it's more friendly than calling someone obese, but whatever. But I am really trying. I am walking. I walk, my first day was an eighth of a mile, second day was a quarter mile. I think quarter mile is my absolute maximum. And I don't know if it's a quarter mile. I like to think it's a quarter mile one way, so actually I'm walking like half a mile. But I think it's a quarter mile total. I'm not sure. Um, but I think that's my maximum for now, especially considering that there is no flat area where I am. So when I start my walk, it's downhill, uphill, and then of course downhill, uphill on the way back as well. So, but I am trying, and I'm going to stick with it and hopefully become better, and eventually you'll see a thinner me. I have some concerns about losing weight, and I'll go over those in another vlog. I don't want to go into it too much in this one right now. Yes, losing the hair. Already look like tire fryer fat fuck back here. Big bald spot, and you can see this area here is going as well. So I'm going to have a giant one bald penis on my head. Sorry for that. Try and unsee that image. But funny story I like to relate. It actually happened to me about 4 or 5 years back. Um, Before that, about 5 years prior to that, I had gotten in trouble for stealing. I worked at the place. I freaking hated it to death. I hated the boss. He was an arrogant ass to the nines. I mean, really, just the worst. One of the worst type of bosses, attitude-wise, you could think of. Thought he was rich and all that, and he wasn't, and he acted like a total ass. But so I ended up stealing. I ended up getting caught because I did something stupid, even though I gotten away with it, and then I did something stupid. I ended up getting caught. But learned the lessons, was put on probation for 5 years, given fines and community service and all that. I had to convert my community service to fines because I just didn't have enough time, having already found a new job, um, to do community service. So rather than do monthly payments, towards the last year of my probation, what I thought was paid off my fine completely. I mean, 100% paid off in full, $1,000, boom, down, done. I was never contacted by my probation officer, not a letter, not a phone call, not nothing. I was never told by the courts. I was never told by anyone, not even the receipt, not even the lady that gave me the receipt told me I had a balance. I thought I was paid full. 1 year later, I also figure I'm done with probation. I'm free. I did my services. I'm done. Okay? About a year later, I'm on my way to work, riding a bus. Nice little bus service that I had. Um, and apparently, a van of police officers pulled up to my house like gangbusters, like they were trying to bust some major drug dealer, and were looking for me. And I mean, they did the whole, this is the police, open the door, we have a warrant surrounding the house, guns out, and wow, really? Over me. But yeah, so what ended up happening is they ended up getting told I was on my way to work, and I was on a bus. Rather than get me at work, which would have been embarrassing enough, but the fact is I wasn't driving as of yet. I drove buses, but I couldn't go back to driving buses because I've been into an accident. Yeah, talk about snowballing. I got into an accident, and it wasn't my fault. The guy actually slid out of control and hit my bus, and it injured my knee. And I was just getting back to doing light duty, which was just office work. Not even a week into it, and all this came to happen. Rather than get me at work, because I wasn't driving, I wasn't going anywhere, I was working in the office. No, they called the bus company, had them contact the bus via radio, and stop the bus. Tell them to go to this area, stop, and wait for police officers to come and get me. And I was asleep. I was taking a nap on the way down. So I get woken up by, Mr. Longo, you're under arrest. Whoa, really? That's a nice wake-up surprise. So they end up taking me to jail, processing me, the whole fingerprints and freaking pictures and all that. And they end up taking me to court. And I find out what I've been arrested for. Because I'm clueless. It was violating probation. I'm like, I haven't been on probation for a year. Come to find out, I owed $100 balance from my fines. $100. 100. $100. And that my probation officer called it a violation of my parole about 2 or 3 months before my parole was supposed to end, because we didn't communicate for those last few months. I didn't know I had to. Never called me, never contacted me, nothing to let me know this was going to happen. And so a year after my probation's been violated, I get arrested for owing $100. Oh, but wait, it's not done. I was held on $20,000 bail. Not $1,000, not, even $10,000, $20,000 bail for owing $100. I was held in prison for 3 days while my wife put together the money to bail me out. And then I had to go back to court to clear everything up. And you know what happened in the end? I got 3 months more probation and had to pay my $100. That was it. Now, let me put this into perspective. They spent thousands of dollars on the police coming to get me. Thousands more dollars on my trial. Thousands more dollars keeping me in prison. Thousands more dollars on my second trial to find out what was going on. Thousands of more dollars giving me 3 months more probation. All for $100. And that's all I had to pay in the end. It's the $100 that I owed. They spent tens of thousands of dollars. Tens of thousands of dollars to get the big bad thief who owed the court $100. Is it any wonder why our justice system? Oh, man, it still is so incredible to me. I lose my train of thought. Our justice system, is it any wonder our governments are in debt? Why we're having to cut budget spending from schools and from other needed programs? Like unemployment, Social Security, and medical benefits? They could have given me a phone call. Because they had it. My probation officer knew what it was. Yes, if you don't pay $100, we're going to have you arrested and put in court. Okay, I'll take care of that right away. Here you go. Pow! No! No! They arrest me, put me through a trial, hold me in prison, put me through a second trial, and then put me on 3 months more probation just to pay back $100. And I wasn't the only one. They were rounding up like a whole bunch of outstanding warrants that were going to expire. There were other guys like me. There were guys that had worse crimes, but there were other guys like me who had very little to nothing. They, like me, they owed maybe a little bit of money. Or they hadn't spoken to their probation officer in 6 months or something like that. Wow! Never mind going for the big drug dealers. Never mind going for the major thieves. Never mind going for the domestic violence people, the wife beaters and the husband stabbers and whatnot. You know, never mind going for the children abusers and the pedophiles. Never mind going for murderers and rapists and con artists and all that. No. He owes $100. We need to get him before this warrant expires. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. Oh, man. I don't know what else to say. Take for it what you will, folks. If you're wondering why our government is in debt and why our justice system doesn't work, that would be one good reason. But anyways, folks, this is One Big Bugger. I'm going to sign out, and I will see you on the flip side of video games. And once I know for sure a direction I'm going to start taking in video games, I will go that way. Right now, it's just going to be a little bit meandering randoms. But, oh, one quick thing before I do go, and I just remembered. I found something that may be able to allow me to post more regularly. One of the reasons I don't is because even with Sony Vegas Pro, the files that I create are fucking huge. They are truly fucking huge. Anywhere from 1 gigabyte to 3 gigabytes in size, and that takes 3 to 6 hours to upload because I only do PC. I don't have a console. So what I figured out is I can do all my video editing, which I really don't do that much, and my initial render in Sony Vegas Pro, and then take the file that Sony Pro puts out, put it through Camtasia Studio 7, and let that render it out, and that Camtasia makes really small files. I mean, it can take a This is the only game I use to render it straight out, because I actually use it to record the game. Camtasia, I use it to record Binding of Isaac. It can take a 50-minute video, which I think one of my Isaac games was around 50 minutes, and render it so I can upload it in 30 minutes. If I do that 50-minute Diablo and render it in Vegas Pro, it's like nearly 3 gigabyte, and it takes about 6 hours to upload, where the Binding of Isaac one takes 30 minutes. So if I'm going, I can render it and do my editing in Vegas Pro, then re-edit it, render it rather in Camtasia, which makes it a really small file, and I should be able to upload it in about 30 minutes rather than having to let my computer run overnight, which is one of the things that have been bothering me, to be able to do that. So hopefully I'll be able to upload it within like an hour or two during the night and be able to shut my computer down before I go to bed. That's what I'm really looking to doing. One can hope. Anyways. Why don't I render it just straight in Camtasia? Well, Camtasia seems to have a problem with large files, because my initial recordings is 200 plus gigabytes sometimes, even 300. I've even recorded up to 500 gigabytes. And I don't know, Camtasia doesn't seem to like that. It will render some of the video and then just all of a sudden, like it's POW, and it's not only rendered like the first quarter. But if I render it in Sony Vegas and take it down, which Sony Vegas does a actually great job taking 200-300 gigabytes of information and rendering it down to only 2 or 3 gigabytes. Taking that and re-rendering it through again should make it smaller. As a matter of fact, I wonder if I could re-render it through Sony Vegas, if I could just recompress it through Sony Vegas. I don't know. I'll have to experiment. But for now, I'm going to be re-rendering through Camtasia. So hopefully, I'll be able to post a little bit more in the regular in the videos. I'll be able to record them. I'll be able to render them and put them up all in the same time, and be able to shut my computer down at night, which is what I really want to do. But other than that, this vlog's already gone on too long, folks. So take it for what you will. This is One Big Bugger. I'm signing out, and I will see you on the video game side.